Hey everybody, hey, thanks for tuning in. So this video right here you're about to watch is going to be a little history background on myself and my kennels, so y'all stay tuned. So before I get started with that, I want to let y'all know if you'll go to my main channel page and scroll down on my videos, you'll find a video on there. It's a giveaway video. Hey, for all y'all that keep coming back to the channel, commenting, watching my stuff, go to that video, go to that giveaway video, and just put a simple comment on there, and that way I know you've entered it, and get entered in to win. It's a $100 gift card to Academy Sports. It's going to be an e-gift card, so I'll email it over to the winner. Even if you don't have a Academy Sports in your area, you can still use it online. So y'all make sure y'all do that, guys. You know, it's real simple to do, and like I said, I'd like to give y'all a $100 gift card when I hit 3,500 subscribers, and so y'all make sure y'all do that. All right, going back to the video, what I want to talk about here today is I've been up here in my office man cave area here. I've been cleaning up. Weather's terrible outside, putting all my deer hunting clothes away, and was in there in my office and was cleaning out one of my bookshelves, and I came across one of my binders, my old binders, photograph holder thing, and was looking through all the pictures of all my old dogs, kind of going down memory lane, and I ran across several papers from some of my past dogs, the dogs that have been real important to me over the years. And so I want to talk to you guys about that today, and just fill you in a little bit about it. It made me think about it, when I was looking through all that. Like, I started this YouTube channel and just went into posting hunting videos and all that, and I never have really explained to you guys, what, my background. So let me get started from the beginning. When I was a young kid, 7, 8 years old, I got introduced to coon hunting, and I grew up with a family. I'm the youngest. I've got 2 older brothers, and then I've got 2 older cousins, and we all grew up out here on the property together. And when I say I'm younger, I'm about 10 years younger than them. We had an uncle, great uncle, Scrap McCain, and he was a single man, never married. He retired from the forestry service at a pretty young age, and that's what the man did. He lived and breathed coon hunting. So he taught us all, about, training dogs, and, things we should do hunting them, and what to listen for, and, just let us know what the dog was doing here and there. And more so, like I said, I was a lot younger. He more so did that with my older brothers and my cousins, and I got to tag along a good bit, but by the time I came along, he was a lot older, and he wasn't hunting as much then. But listening to stories, he told me numerous stories, and man, you could tell just by talking to him that's what the man loved. He just lived and breathed coon hunting. So we were very fortunate, and myself, I was very fortunate to be the younger brother and cousin, and they always let me tag along with them, on their coon hunts, and even when I wasn't big enough to cross the creek, they would let me go along, and they would carry me across the creek, and things like that. So I was very fortunate growing up, and having that opportunity with them. So when I was about 10 to 12 years old, somewhere in that range, I was able to get my first puppy, and I can remember it. It's crazy the things you remember in life, but I called her Delta. She wasn't a great dog. What I can remember is she just tagged along with their dogs, did whatever they did. If they run a track, she ran it with them. If she treed with them. But hey, it was a dog to me, and back then, I didn't care. It was just the fact that it was my dog, and I was able to get out in the woods with it. So by the time my teenage years came along, I was able to get little better dogs along the way, and that got me through all that. And then my oldest cousin Jamie, back then, he was really big into competition hunting. I can remember him going all over the place back then, you know, on competition hunts. And he had a dog that was out of Uchman Southern Blue Scout, and he called that dog Class. And you know, I remember nights going hunting with him and being in the woods with that dog and seeing the things that dog could do. You know, I told myself back then, I was like, one day, you know, when I have the capability, I'll own a dog like that, and you know, then that'll be the dog I start my kennel with, and you know, go from there. Moving on from, you know, teenage years, you know, I went through that stage like most of us boys do, or men do. Get a little wild streak in us, you know. We're running all over the place. I was playing sports and, you know, constantly on the go. So, you know, coon hunting wasn't the top priority for me at that time. But one thing I do remember, looking back on it now, is that, you know, when I would take my friends hunting with me, we'd go, you know, of course, and you know, it'd be on a weekend because my parents didn't like me to stay out real late during the weeknights because of school and everything. But you know, to them, looking back on it, it was just a night to have fun. But I can remember me being serious about it, you know, paying attention to what the dogs were doing, you know, spending time with the dogs outside of just one night in the woods. And you know, that made me realize that, you know, what coon hunting meant to me. And you know, I've always loved deer hunting, squirrel hunting, turkey hunting, but you know, even from that young of an age to now, you know, coon hunting's always been way up here for me. And you know, that was I guess a turning point with me. Realize, you know, hey, you know, this is what you enjoy doing. You know, one day, you know, that's what you're gonna put your time into, and that's what's happened. You know, so I went off to college about 4 hours away from here. Got a baseball scholarship that took me up there, and you know, 4 years there, I didn't get to hunt a whole lot. You know, some weekends when I was able to come home, and you know, on breaks from school, you know, Christmas and things like that. So, you know, those 4 years I spent in college, I didn't do a whole lot of coon hunting, but I can remember being there and just waiting to get back home so I could get a dog. And you know, I'd be out of school, I'd be working, have more time to hunt, and I just remember, you know, just more or less counting down the days to be able to do it, you know. So that brings me to this right here, which is, you can see this sign in the background, Pea Ridge Bluetick Kennels. And that's when that started, you know, when I got out of college. And I'm gonna go through these dogs real quick for you, so y'all bear with me. I'm gonna try not to be too long-winded. So 2003, got out of college, Pea Ridge Blue Sissy. I bought her as a puppy, raised her up. I can remember, you know, 6, 8 months old, she started treeing, running and treeing. Man, she made things easy. And I can remember, you know, I was 21, 22 at the time, and thinking, man, this is gonna be easy. You know, every dog I get, I'm gonna be able to get it started. I got the touch on getting them going, and of course that proved me wrong. But she was just one of those dogs, you know, that, man, she wanted to please you. You rarely had to put her on a lead. She just, you know, was just easy handling. And like I said, she started young and treated a lot of coons and made it look easy for them, you know. So Sissy was heavy Uchman bred dog, top and bottom. She went back to the old Rambo dogs as well. And big contributor to keep me going in the coon hunting. So from Sissy, I decided when she was about 1.5 years, 2 years old, I said, I want to go find a male dog. I started male dog. I didn't want to start as a puppy. I wanted to find a male dog started that I could finish out, and that would start, you know, with my breeding. So there come along Pea Ridge Blue Truman. Truman was out of Uchman's Blue Hornet and Chore's Blue Molly. And this dog, guys, right here is, man, he's what I still to this day gauge my dogs on. He was the real deal. I can remember buying him. He honestly was about 1.5 years, 2 years old when I bought him, about the same age as Sissy was. And I went down and hunted with him one night, and he treed 2 or 3 coons, did a good job on it. He good mouth, good looks, and just an easygoing dog as well. And the man I bought him from, he was honest with me. He said, you know, the reason I'm selling him is because he don't hunt like I want him. You know, he don't hunt deep enough. So I'm just being upfront with you about that. So I took a gamble on him and I bought him, brought him home, and within a month or two, he did a complete 360. You know, guys, I've learned over the years, sometimes with dogs, and I'm sure y'all have experienced it too if you've hunted enough, you can take a dog out of one environment, put the dog into another environment, and they'll be a complete, total different dog. And that's what happened with Truman. It wasn't nothing I did any different than what he had been done, you know, on the previous owner. I just simply took him hunting. He obviously, maybe he, you know, he was just at the right age that he turned around. I don't know, but that change made a huge improvement on him. So in a month or two, he was going. He became a dog that was a short range hunter to just getting through the country. And I'll share a quick story with you about him and what made me realize from that night on what a coon dog should be like. So my brother and I were down, we were hunting Truman that night, and we turned him loose down in the creek bottom. Sent him up the creek like we always do. Usually 5 minutes goes by, 10 minutes, you're going to get a strike down there. Well, that didn't happen that night. It was one of those cold winter nights. And back then, we didn't have the GPS collars, so I had an old, the old folding antenna wildlife. It was a wildlife system with a pistol grip on it. So we decided we better go get in the truck, drive around the road, and start beeping him, and we did. And, you know, that thing, you know, when it picked up a long signal, when the dog was farther away, it'd be a weak beep from it, and then the closer the dog got to you, it'd be a stronger beep. So automatically, you know, it was a long, you know, that thin, you know, gauge beep right there. So we took out driving, finally got a good signal. Long story short, we found him treed about 7 or 8 miles from where we turned him out. He had made it to the city limits, treed in the back of a neighborhood behind a house. And I walked in there to him and looked up there and saw the coon, and you know, that did it for me right there. That at that time I never had a dog go that far to tree a coon, and you know, that impressed me. And from that night on, he just got better and better, and you know, he set the bar with me on what a coon dog should be. You know, any kind of condition, that dog would tree a coon. It didn't matter where you turned him out, he was going to go find one. Anyway, I finished him out in the hunts, and then something bad happened with him. He ended up getting ran over about a week later after I finished him out one Saturday night. We had been on this same coon 2 or 3, maybe 4 times, turn him loose on another area of our property, and he would go down the hollow, hit the coon would take the same trail. One night my brother was with me, coon did the same thing, and Truman treated him right on the side of the highway on the back side of our property over on the other neighbor's property over here. We got around over there to him, parked on the side of the highway, walked in, and you know, there the coon was. And I can remember it, my brother telling me right there under that tree, he said, you better shoot this coon or your dog's going to end up getting ran over. And me being the way I am, I wouldn't do it. Got the dog, got out of there, and then, like I said, week after I finished him out, or less than a week after I finished him out in the hunts, same thing, coon did the same thing. I tried to get him cut off, coon crossed the highway, and then, of course, dog tries to cross the highway, gets ran over, you know, and I find him dead on the side of the road. And I've kicked myself in the butt for that, you know, many times over the years, you know, but nothing I can do about it now. So with Truman, like I said, I got him to breed to my sissy female. I got to hunting him in the hunts. I kept putting it off, and then that's what happened. So right back to the drawing board on that. Then, so Truman was out of Hornet and Molly, excuse me, and so I set out. I was like, I started calling everybody I knew in the, you know, hunted blue ticks, and I got lucky and I found a guy that had a litter mate brother to Truman He lived up in New Jersey. I called, worked on him for a couple months. I finally got the dog bought, got him shipped down here, and I hunted that dog for 6 or 7 months. And man, he just was not Truman, and you know, I was disgusted. Not a bad dog, but you know, just at that point in time, I couldn't keep him, so I sold him, and I went back to the drawing board. And what I did is I took my sissy female and went up to East Tennessee to Mr. Tony Clevenger's, and I bred her to his Spring Hill Blue Raising Cane dog. And if you guys were hunting back then, you know much about the blue tick breed. That Spring Hill RC is what Tony called him, and Spring Hill Blue Jenny, that cross Tony made numerous times, and they produced tons of top blue tick dogs, you know, back 20 years ago or so. So I bred her to him, and out of that cross I got Pea Ridge Blue Preacher. Preacher turned out, I raised him from a puppy, of course. Same way, you know, he just like his mama, started easy. Excellent track dog. Dang near deadly accurate. When he treed, he had a coon or a den, you could load your gun. He was a dog that you could kill coons throughout the whole entire year if you wanted to. Downfall with him, sometimes, you know, on certain tracks, he would check the tree a little too much and, you know, get beat out on a tree if you were in a competition hunt. But about 2.5, 3 years old, I came home from work one day and was cleaning out the kennels, and I made it down to Preacher's, and y'all, I got down there to him, and his head was the size of a basketball. His chest was swollen, feet, legs were swollen. I got him to the vet, and it was too late by that time. They treated him. A day or so later, he died, you know. So back to the drawing board. There's 2 in a row I've had some bad luck with at that point. But continuing on, I went back to the drawing board, and still going back to that Uchman's Blue Hornet dog, I found a female. She was already a night champion at the time. Uchman's Overton's Blue Bell. I bought her strictly just to raise puppies out of. I did hunt her some in some competition hunts. Excellent tree dog. Probably the fastest, quickest to get treed that I've ever owned. You know, she was insane how quick she would get treed. Not many dogs could beat her, you know, getting treed, you know, in a hunt during competition. Unreal. So I took her and bred her back to Tony. I went back to Tony Clevenger's. This time I bred to Tony's Jags dog, which was out of that famous RC and Jenny cross. I bred Bell to Jags, and then out of that came Pea Ridge Blue Ranger. Ranger was a black and white dog. My brother ended up owning Ranger. He big, long, leggy dog, good mouth, hard hunting dog, same way as his mom, quick to get treed. And my brother was hunting him one night in a competition hunt, and he got out of pocket, got treed in behind the house. Anyway, he got around to him, got the dog, got him in the box, drove home, about an hour drive or so. Gets home, gets him out of the box, and the dog can barely walk. He had vomited all in the dog box. Get him to the vet, and the only thing we could ever figure out is he got in some kind of poison, like rat poison or antifreeze, you know, around that house where he was treed that night. And the dog never was the same again. He come back around, but you know, in the summertime, man, he'd get really hot, overheated, and then a couple years later after that, you know, my brother just hunted him on and off. And then he ended up with heartworms, and that really set him back. And just a shame, you know, with that. But he, you know, he got to enjoy hunting, and I just don't think he ever was able to achieve with him what he could have, you know, with those setbacks. But you know, it is what it is. He died probably 2 or 3 years after being diagnosed with those heartworms. I think they just eventually got him, even though, you know, with the treatment. But very solid dog. Miss hunting with him. Spent a lot of nights with my brother with him. All right, and next in line, and there's in between all these dogs, there was other dogs, guys. These are the ones that just stand out that, you know, have influenced me the most. This dog right here holds a soft spot in my heart. Is Pea Ridge Blue Samson. Samson was born in 2009, and he was born a couple weeks after my son was born. So I was always able to keep up with his age, you know, according to my son. And you know, him and my son were kind of raised up together. You know, I got pictures of them, you know, hunting together. My son's standing at the tree with Samson on it. You know, he was so Samson was out of Spring Hill raising cane. There you can go back to that bloodlines and Spring Hill Jenny too. Got him as a weaning age puppy, raised him up. Never had a dog start like he did. He started at 4 months old. I had him in my coon pen. I put him in there one afternoon and just let him run, you know. I come out on the back patio that night and he was treed down there. Got my light, go down there, and he's got a possum treed on a tree that's 10 foot tall. And from that night on, man, you know, I kept putting him in that pen and he would get treed, he would get treed, he would get treed. And by 8 months old, I was hunting him like a grown dog, and actually got scared I was going to burn him out, so I cut back on hunting him, you know, until he matured a little bit, and he just finished out to be an excellent dog. And his main thing was when on those bad nights, I know y'all have experienced it, everything's quiet, nothing's stirring, no coon scent on the ground, he would go through there, bam, and hammer a layup coon that no other dog could smell, you know. And he had a way above average nose, and just amazing at treeing those layup coons, and missed very few that he treed. And you know, my biggest regret with him is that right there. I know you can't see it, but I never put a title in front of his name. You know, that was time, you know, we were having kids, and I kind of put aside the competition hunting, and you know, it was just pleasure hunting at the time. And man, I regret that. He deserved that title in front of his name. But he died about 3 years ago, and that was a tough day. You know, I raised that dog and kept him all those years, and spent countless nights in the woods with him, and had to put him in the ground. That was a tough day, but yeah, he holds a place in my heart for sure. And I've got a lot of videos of him that I'm going to put on here, and some of these other dogs as well. But guys, this leads into right here where I'm at today, and the videos you're seeing is my Rambler dog. And like I said earlier, I gauge a lot of dogs back to my old Truman dog, and Rambler's he's close right there. He's still young, he's making mistakes still, but he's on the way to being right there with my old Truman dog. And man, I sure hope he pans out like I think he's going to. And you know, I've got these, y'all seen my Kate female, the young female in the videos, and I got this Jinx female, and then I've still got my old Bella female down there. She's 7. Don't hurt her much anymore. But my goal is now to not make these same mistakes as I did, and let these dogs get away from you without getting some offspring off of them. So that's my plan with those 3 females, is to get them bred to Rambler and get some puppies on the ground and continue that cycle, you know. But you know, Rambler, he's got some polishing up to do, and we're working on that. But I think he's gonna balance on out, you know, and make that type of dog for me. If I just have some good luck, nothing happened, we should be in good shape with him. Rambler's out of Bama Blue Kid, and you know, that bloodline compared to these females, you know, one of these females is heavy Uchman bred, the Kate female is, and then the Jinx female's got a lot of the Smoky River bloodlines in her. And then my Bella female, the older female, she goes back to the RC and Jenny stuff. So should make some good crosses right there back on Rambler. And hopefully I can get that done. But anyway, guys, I'm not going to bore you anymore. I appreciate you watching. That's the history behind me and my kennels. And you know, I hope you'll continue to watch and see how this plays out, you know, and progresses. So y'all, if you hadn't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Hit that notification bell where you see my videos when a new one is put out there. And like I said, appreciate you watching. God bless you all. I'll see you on the next video. Y'all, right here, this is little Samson tree when he was 4 months old, and you can see, like I said earlier, he was small enough he could barely get through the woods, but just never had a pup up to that time start so early. You can tell he's just a natural.
I know they kept running.
I said it was perfect.
Come on, big boy. Come on.
I told you to go.
Again, I appreciate everybody for watching. Hope you'll continue to tune in and see how this progresses. Pea Ridge Bluetick Kennels. Thank y'all for letting me share the history here and my experiences. God bless you all. I'll see you on the next video.